Bitcoin, if we want to go higher, it needs to happen ASAP. It is absolutely now or never, because we just touched on our last bullish scenario, and if this one doesn't play out, it's lights out and we're going lower. But the dump that we had earlier today in the Asian session, that is the candle in the wick that you see right here, is a trade pattern, an idea of liquidity that has played out in the past many times, and that could catapult us all the way to the top of the range, back to approximately 31,000. But then we need to pick up steam very fast and then to go higher. If you like the content, please do me a favor, like, subscribe, click the bell, click on all so you don't miss anything. Leave me a comment, share this video with your friends if you think that's useful. Also feel free to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Without further ado, let's start diving in. Right, as I said, we're looking here at BTC. This is on the 1 hour, so we're a little bit more zoomed in now. And this wick right here, this was really something that happened during the Asian session. Usually I don't like that because the Asian session doesn't have that much volume usually. Europe is already a little bit better, so the London session, and New York is really prime time. That is when most of the volume comes in. So when you have a pump or dump during the Asian sessions, usually they got recovered or they're just not so strong. Nevertheless, like I said, there is a scenario here that has been playing out already many times before, and I'm going to show you also a few examples what happened in the past. So we're having here all the lows, and eventually we had a few wicks down, which is going lower, constantly taking the liquidity. This could be the last and final wick to the downside before we are getting some sideways price action, and then we're shooting up to the top. Before I'm going to show you the examples in the past, what I have found, I first want to show you where we have bounced off. And that is that thick yellow line that you see here in your screen that I have marked. And if I then zoom out and I go here to the left side, then you can see that we had a small cluster of trading when we had this massive run to the upside, and that we bounced exactly from the bottom of that range. In other words, we have also taken the liquidity of this smaller trading range, and now we need to go higher. If we do not go higher and we're losing that yellow thick line again, 28,670, then it's lights out and we're going all the way to the bottom of the channel, and eventually then I would be really looking out for 26,000. Alright, now let's quickly move over to the scenarios in the past where I'm saying, hey, this has played out before. And I've marked them with a thick white line so that I don't forget where they are. See this as a bigger trading range where you can see that BTC is trading here, and then eventually we're coming down, we're making a low, then we're sweeping the low again, we're sweeping the low again, then an equal low, then one more sweep very quickly. So as you can also see when I'm zooming in, you can see that's a very quick sweep to one more time take the liquidity, stop out all the early longers, we're going sideways, off to the races, and this eventually then led up to the highs so far of the year. Let's zoom out, and here I have another example for you. This is actually also very nice. So we are going lower for BTC. We're coming off approximately 25k. We're going lower. We are creating lows, and we're also taking out all of these lows over and over again. So it's starting to look pretty bearish. Having a low, taking out, slightly higher, whoops, taking out, then one more dump, a very quick dump, little bit of sideways action, and then quite fast we are off to the races, and then we are going higher from there. And that move then also went all the way up to approximately 25k. Very nice move. Okay, one more example that I have for you. Let me see where that is. This one was a little bit tricky because we're having our initial low that is slightly front run by the wick to the downside. So we're having our range, right? That is this range right here. And we're having then our initial low, then we're going slightly higher, building that liquidity here underneath all of these lows. then one big move to the downside, boom, taking all of that liquidity here underneath. All those early longers are getting wrecked, they're getting stopped out. Little bit of sideways action, boom, off to the races, and this was really a massive move to the upside. We went from approximately 20,000. Well, your first stop here was 23, but eventually I think we went a little bit higher here to 24, 25k. So the idea is getting into a trading range, trapping retail traders, thinking we are going lower just to build up that liquidity. Then everyone is trying to long. Those early longers are getting wrecked because of that then last wick to the downside and grabbing that liquidity. We're going a little bit sideways, and then we have our major move to the upside, because also here on the upside we have so much nice liquidity to grab. I mean, just look at all of these highs. They're just so close to each other. They're just begging to be taken out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this actually looks as one big liquidation fast, and this could be a mega move to the upside. But we need to go higher very, very fast. If we are losing the current low, so the current sweep that we have been making again, so if we're losing 28,670, lights out, we're going lower, the end. Then I am really looking towards the lows. There's the very area low, 26,200, let's say 26,000. We also have some confluence at that level. That is still a pretty big drop. For now, the level to reclaim, so the first sign of strength, is reclaiming this week. And I will also put a line here so that's clear for you to see. 29,000 exactly. That is the level that we need to reclaim. As of for now, it doesn't look all too pretty, because it looks like we are kind of front running it, and now we're going a little bit lower. I will give it a pass, because maybe we are just zigzagging here a little bit, maybe going towards the golden pocket. So we're going now then from 29k, a little bit like this, whoop, whoop. That's also the sound it makes, in case you didn't know, whoop, whoop. And then eventually, boom, off to the races. And this is then your sideways action. People thinking, uh-oh, doesn't look all too good. And then suddenly, boom, we're off. But then we had our retest towards the golden pocket and the 78.6, which, by the way, is at 28,785. 28,785. That is the golden pocket for now. And the level to reclaim is first 29k. Nicest would be if we eventually are getting a reclaim, maybe with a retest, because I can't imagine that you may be a little bit cautious trying to long this. If you do, your stop loss goes underneath this wick, this low here at 28,670. But then your stop loss goes underneath there, you're aiming for the high. So great risk to reward, but you want to see some follow through. And if you are, of course, here, like I said, stop loss is here. And of course, if you are taking this trade, then I would just put my stop loss $100, $200 or $300 underneath your entry, because if we're then losing this support and resistance again, the 29k, yeah, most likely that we're just going lower, and then I would also enter a short trade there. I missed the wick to the downside. Like I said, I also don't really like trading that Asian session, or at least to try to catch the wicks, because it just goes on low volume. Few things in the indicator that concern me a little bit, and that is here on the 1 hour, money flow is just pouring out. That is not a sign of strength, and it also looks like that the VWAP, so the yellow indicator, wants to roll over to the downside. Let's quickly look at the 4 hourly. Little bit indecisive. It looks like we want to clip and want to go higher. Not a super clear bull diff, because we made a lower low on price, but here I would say it's equal. VWAP is higher, money flow is lower, RSIs are indecisive. So the 4 hour is actually pretty ugly. Doesn't really tell us where it wants to go. 8 hour, whew, that looks ugly. Money flow deep in the red, and also it looks like the RSIs want to point together to the downside. That is pretty bearish. Then quickly on the daily, we had our green dot, but not really any follow through, and it looks like that today it wants to print a red dot. Money flow to the downside, VWAP to the downside, but the RSIs are split, so it is losing strength. So that is then also a little bit conflicting. And of course, then we have this major macro bearish divergence on the weekly. But as I said already, I think it was early this week or previous week, that I said we can still have a green week in between. And to be honest, I actually am also hoping that we are first going higher here to just have 1, 2, 3 green days, creating a lower high on the higher time frame, so that we are doing something like this, going higher, taking all the liquidity. Everyone is getting bullish, everyone thinks we are going higher, thank you, bomb, crash, and then we eventually are going towards 20k ish for the next couple months. That would have been the most perfect scenario. Like I said, if we're breaking down here, all hell breaks loose, there's then just no support anymore, at least until 26k. So I think that can be a very swift move. And as you can also see, the volume here is just dying out. So some weirdo, some crazy Chinese with a couple hundred billion can just suddenly pump up the price, and we're back at the plus 30,000. So be careful. If you see this, you see volume dying out, then usually that eventually is being resolved with one massive wick. And what is going to be? Red, green, up, down? I have no idea, but at least now you know what kind of levels I'm looking at and what I will be trading. So no, I have not entered yet a major short or a major long position. I want to see a little bit more confirmation, and I don't want to get chopped up in this tiny area here where we just move every day 1, 2, 3 tenths of a percent. I'm waiting until I have very clear direction, but I'm still not 100% convinced that I need to flip bullish for the next week or two. I still think that we can maybe push out a few green daily candles before we are getting a more macro move to the downside in the next couple of weeks or months. That will be it for now. If you like the content, please do me a favor, like, subscribe, click on the bell, click on all so you don't miss anything. Leave me a comment, share this video with your friends if you think that's useful. Also feel free to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Those links are also in the description. And see you guys very soon again in the next one. Bye bye.